Hello, my name is Peiqian. My student ID is 1955777. Let's begin with my presentation. The Asian media sense has changed significantly due to the influence of globalization, leading to a changing culture and identity respect through Asian film. In particular, many countries in Asia are now moving away from traditional media to a new hybridizing media. And now it is multifactorial and intertwined with many other global cultures, especially any Asian filmmaker regard international co-production as a chance to learn how to produce film that will be distributed and widely watched outside Asia. This flowing the learning paradigm that Asia has utilized with a foreign investment over the period decade. However, one of the major points of this presentation is that the model of joint venturing with foreign investment works so successful for Asia. It is low-cost manufacturing approach in the extremely hard to reproduce in cinema, which is one of the most sophisticated service grade of the world. It takes a great amount of subtitle, culturally complexity, and entertainment value. The idea of co-production is a product of globalization. For example, an extraction of the Asian film industry with a country outside Asia. Co-production is country with a non-US film, especially if the film are intended for international distribution. The fact that play is case in many nations where multiple languages are spoken or the performers from different nationalities. This presentation will explore co-production in detail, including how the accomplished in Asian films. Especially, this presentation will focus on the example of India's Sweet and Spicy, a film denoting the using of co-production between India and the US. The presentation will also target the consumption and cosmopolitanized hybridity, global audience and transaction and crossover cinema. It will divide into an analyzing of the relationship between Asian and global media scenes and illustrate how India's Sweet and Spicy exemplify media flow and Australian culture and identity. The film India's Sweet and Spicy was released in November 2021. It portrays a sense of in SK community following a pattern of globalization in the Indian culture and American lifestyle. The film is based on the story of the progressive Ali couple who returned home for college to spend time there for summer vacation. After her return, young Ali up her family well-ordered lifestyle with an independent now. She has seemingly acquired from college and pushed Ali to a daring of utility, amusing confrontation. Overall, the film is a cultural case study examining a love story and is retold as an integration drama with a mix of an Indo-American taste. The depict an Indian-American character in different spring from the traditional India setting to a modern-day American tale that provide feeling of love and demonstrate how the character has been formed in the play with the overall topic of gender and how this feeling are likely gender and the discrimination in their experience. Therefore, the film provides how media is not only seen from the local aspect but can also be observed from a global to local or even hybrid to complex realize. Obviously, the utilization of production, case member dressing, distribution, and different audience can understand how cooperating film present the impact of such film on the local culture and identity. Ideally, the film also helps examine how Asian media has become hybridizing and transactionally to the global media, since it explains how co-production can also influence consumption and cosmopolitanize hybridity, global audience, and transaction and crossover cinema. First, the film was made in both American and Indian settings. Its idea from the Asian media sense can be described by the concept of cultural hybridization or hybridity, which is a term used to describe the need of combined various media or area of media study with the practice of hiring and the future of different film within media study, being in fact unequally hybrid film combine elements of two or more genre rather than considering a single genre. It offering a more comprehensive theoretical alternative emphasizing the adaptation and active articulation of global process with local or religious norms, consumer want and traditions, as well as individuals' requirements and traditions. Therefore, the nation of hybridity believed that the hybrid culture might be more resistant, diversified, and heterogeneous than Western culture, as opposite to Western culture. Even though India's Sweet and Spicy, despite a traditional family setting, it was set in New Jersey, USA. Besides, it shows how the current generation in modern life different from the traditional Indian parent, illustrate hybridity. Another important aspect, even in the film, is cosmopolitanized and consumerized. The essence consumerized demonstrates the concept whereby the media locally a film production but still promote a consumerized lifestyle. In other words, cosmopolitan cinema attends to region discuss of the cinematic text with a fresh understanding of its wilderness. Cosmopolitanized implies a disposition and mode of engaging with the world, yet what constitutes the world is already contingent and contingent on context and culture. In the film, one of the evident aspects of sensibilizing in the Western thinning dressing style of the character. The transition or crossover film focus on the peculiarity of one region to explore large universally concept. Identically transactional cinema is a growing nation within film studies the incorporation many hypotheses dealing with the consequence of globalization of film's culture and economic elements. In other words, crossing over also in the term of distribution and reception of the film in other culture. Therefore, the process of creating a film must be grounded on the generic source. In this way, Spicy is a crossover or transaction film because the film uses only English as the main language of community. Lastly, co-production tends to be characterized by a global audience. The global film market is competitive with many players. Therefore, the Asian film industry should be able to attend to viewers in many different parts of the world to achieve a global audience for its media. Besides Asian film, particularly those in opposite to the aesthetics and value of commercial cinema, must infuse co-production to achieve this. This film's distribution on Hulu, Video, Apple TV, or Redbox denote that it can have a global research constituting a global audience. Meanwhile, the film targets a global audience, not India or America alone. In conclusion, globalization in the media and culture has reached significant gains in extension and penetration through the predicting 2 decades. The increasing co-production of film between Asian countries and other countries will contribute to the adoption of global media sense in Asia. This innovation has also brought attention to its Western influence, passion of cultural creation, circulation, and interaction. The degree to which these elements have finally addressed global media culture flow and toxic bonds among people from various localities remain controversial. This presentation is based on India's sweet and spicy to establish the concept of consumption and cosmopolitanization, hybridity, global audience, and transactional and crossover cinema has evolved within the context of transnational Asian media. This is the reference page. Thank you.